today's hotter than expected CPI print giving investors a reality check. Maddie, you've got a guest on the floor with you. What are you hearing around the exchange?
Yeah, a sea of red, as you mentioned, across the major industry indices, including the Russell. Yields are up as well. But I wanted to grab our expert guest here, Michael Reinking, senior market strategist here at the NYSE, to talk about that hotter than expected CPI print. And Michael, talk to me about your reaction and what the vibe has been on the floor this morning reacting to that CPI print.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the CPI number came in hotter than expected, right? That does throw kind of a monkey wrench in this broader narrative, that we were going to kind of see the end of the tightening cycle and the really aggressive assumptions that markets had in terms of rate cuts, kind of going through this year. Just before I came over, I was looking at kind of, the probabilities for rate cuts, right? We're now looking at May at about 1 in 3 probability of a rate cut, down from about 2 in 3, last week. And then through year end, we're looking at about 75 basis points, which is more in line with where the Fed has been, right? So you've seen kind of the Fed had kind of taken some of those expectations out of the market, and now we're seeing the economic data do that. One of the things I talked about throughout this year is that I thought kind of economic data would be the cause of volatility, and we are seeing that today.
At this point, can the market price in the exact date that we're going to see rate cuts start to come?
No, I think it's really kind of it continues to move, and we're going to be very data dependent, and you can see with today how you can see you kind of some of that data start to move in the wrong direction, and just how quickly markets will react to that.
And the VIX was up this morning. Talk to me about your take on why we're seeing more movement in the VIX. Is it just that CPI print, or is there something more going on under the surface?
Yeah, so I think yesterday I thought was like a really telling moment. So we saw markets were moving higher throughout much of the morning, and the VIX was also moving higher. So whether that was somebody trying to hedge a portfolio ahead of this event, or potentially just kind of making a call on this number, right? There was something going on there, and that was like a little bit of a red flag for me. Now the fact that it's also options expiration is going to potentially add to some of the the volatility and kind of the thrust that we see here, right? We saw a real expansion of breadth within the market yesterday, right? And this gap down is going to now just kind of leave traders in trapped in some not particularly good positions.
Continuing to have that question of where we're going to see the market broadening. Michael, thank you so much. We really appreciate your comments on that. Rochelle and Brad, back to you in the studio.
All right, appreciate that. Our very own Madison Mills there at the NYSE.